All right, so now that we've gone through how we can figure out what type of conic we have, let's go through and actually talk about how we can find what conic we have. Okay, so you can see we've got four different equations, and really they're equations that we haven't had any experience with. They're kind of just in a different format than we're used to. That's okay. Okay, we're just focused on a few parts of it. All right, so we are trying to figure out whether it's a circle, parabola, ellipse, or it's a hyperbola. Okay, so what we're going to do is go through our checklist and just basically see what we come up with. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do on all these here is I'm just going to put each of their first letters, just so that I can have basically things to cross out as I'm going through. Okay, so let's start with question number one. Does the equation have both x squared and y squared? Well, you can see right there I've got x squared and I've got y squared. Because I answered that yes, it's either a circle, ellipse, or it's a hyperbola. Okay, which means that I can cross out parabola. It's definitely not a parabola. It could still be any of the other three, but it's not a parabola. And now, because I answered yes to question one, I moved to question two. Okay, are they both x squared and y squared positive, or is one positive, one's negative? Well, you can see I've got a positive 4, but a negative 9. So if one's positive, one's negative, that means it's a hyperbola. Okay, and here's a big point of emphasis for me. I want you to write the answer out. Okay, I don't want you to write just H or E or whatever. I want you to actually tell me what the conic is. So write hyperbola, and that's it. And again, that's the kind of process that we're going to work through the entire way. All right, so move here to the second one. You got 2x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 4. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and label C, P, E, and H. All right, question one. Do we have both x squared and y squared? Yeah, we sure do. I've got x squared and y squared right there, which means that I'm eliminating the parabola right away. Moving on to question two. Are they both positive, or one positive, one's negative? Well, I've got a positive 2 and a positive y squared. Since they're both positive, it's not going to be a hyperbola. Okay, so now I'm down to a circle or an ellipse. Okay, question three is asking, are the coefficients of x squared and y squared equal or not equal? Well, I have 2, and then this would be a 1. So they are not equal, which means that our figure here is an ellipse. All right. So you can kind of see the process that we're going to do. Take a minute, pause the video, see if you can figure out the next two on your own, and then come back to the video to check. All right, so let's start to work through the third one here. I've got x squared plus 4x minus 8y plus 12. Okay, again, I'm labeling C, P, E, and then H, just so I can cross those out. Question number one, do I have x squared and y squared? Well, I've got x squared, but the largest y term I have is y. Okay, I don't have a y squared, which means that this is automatically a parabola. So that one's pretty easy to find. All right. Now you can probably guess what this one's going to be, but let's work through just the same as we have been here. So question number one, do we have x squared and y squared? Yeah, we sure do. Okay, so it's definitely not a parabola. Question number two, are they both positive, or is one positive, one negative? Well, they're both positive. I got 1 and 1 right there, which means that a hyperbola is not my answer. Question number three, well, are they equal or not equal? I've got 1x squared and 1y squared. They are equal, which means that we have a circle. So again, that's the process that we are looking to go through each and every single time. We're going to ask the three questions, okay, and we want to just narrow it down. Okay, sometimes like this third one, it's very easy. If it's a no, it's automatically a parabola. Sometimes, like we saw in the second, fourth ones, we have to work through all three questions. Okay, but just keep that in mind. If you keep that same progression all the way through, you're going to have no problem identifying these conics.